Okay, Richard, just tell us briefly about, where it all started for you as a rugby player, where your interest and your love for the sport started.
Okay, I grew up in the Strand, so I'm a bit of a Boland boykie. My brother-in-law, Gerald Hendricks, he represented St. George's as well as Somerset Board. So because we lived in the same house, I think that's where everything started for me. I was the one that polished his boots on a Saturday, that sort of thing. As a family, we went to go watch St. George's and Somerset Board play. And that's basically how I grew up. So I started playing with junior rugby. I started my junior career at St. George's in the Strand. And at that time, believe it or not, I was a fullback and a centre. I think I had a lot of pace. So after St. George's, we sort of moved out of the Strand area. We moved more towards Cape Town. And I finished school in Elsies River High. And there I played, I think I just played 1 year. And then I stopped. And then after I matriculated, I basically took a break and didn't partake in any sport at all. And I was staying in Bellagh at the time. And on a Saturday, I didn't know what to do. So I heard noise one day because we were just sort of next to the hill out in Bellagh where the rugby field is. And I went to go peek over there and I saw Bellagh playing. So I went to go join Bellagh Rugby Club. And I played there, I think, for 2 years at fullback. And I made the first. During the second year, one of our locks got injured. And the coach at the time of Bellagh, Mr. Boyson, fantastic coach, he then said to me, "Hey, Britton, come, you're the tallest in the team, so you're going to play lock." I said to him, "Yes, Mr. Boyson, coach, I don't know anything about lock." He said, "All you do is jump and catch the balls." Anyway, to make a long story very short, that Saturday I just jumped, caught balls, and I apparently did a fantastic job. After the game, he said to me, "That's it, you're playing lock from now onwards." I'm a team man, so that was my lot. Okay, and that's how it started. Basically, I made the TAUREQ B team that year as well. At the time, then in the A, Peter Jooste was still captain. He was, one of the biggest respectful guys that we all looked up to at the time then. However, due to at the time then, on a personal level, I was going through some personal changes. I basically turned Muslim at the time, changed my name to TAUREQ. And then the following year, in fact, that particular year, I was one of the very few and fortunate people that I had a personal coach. I met a chap on the bus as we were traveling to work, and he was an ex-judoka, and he was a second dan judoka, and he became my personal coach. Aaron Canfield, a lot of the guys know him. He got involved with me from there onwards. He was basically involved with my career. He was instrumental in a lot of my training, in a lot of my mental preparation, particularly because that is where I think my strength were. So anyway, the following year, in end of 1986, I said to him, no, I needed to make a change from a social point of view. And I said to him, I'm going to join Western Province. Western Province at that time was probably one of the most feared teams, one of the most successful and feared teams. I joined Young Stars Rugby Club as a lock. And that very year, within I think 2 months or something like that, I made the Province B team. And then the following week I was selected in the A side. And then that same year, in fact, I scored a try on my debut. That was still a game that we played at UWC. And that very same year, in 1987, I made the Sauru team as well, which to me was a massive honor, because I looked at it as, geez, I joined the union the first time. The same year I played B, A, and I made the provincial side as well. I stayed in the Western Province for 4 years, and I represented the Sauru team in all 4 years that I was there. I was the vice captain of the Sauru team as well, vice captain to Alistair Coetzee, who was the captain. I played there at Western Province till 1990, and then I joined Hamilton's in Sea Point, Greenpoint. There also I made the Western Province team at Newlands, and the time when I made the Western Province team at Newlands was the first time I ever set foot on Newlands. So I was one of the hardliners in terms of the situation, the political situation at the time. the conditions that we played under. However, I can truly say as a sports person, I really enjoyed and every moment that I had on the rugby field was a real honor and a pleasure for me. I have lots of memories. I think my best memory was probably the 1987 SA Cup final that we played against Kwaru at the Dan Keke Stadium, and we beat them 3-0 on that final. And towards the end of the game, we actually had the entire Kwaru support, you know, rooting for us, because the Kwaru were making it. I think they missed 2 penalties, so that sort of turned the tide and the people against them as well. And towards the end, they were actually rooting for us, and that will always be one of my most outstanding memories. I represented various SA sides, SA development sides, and I played a few internationals. I played against France, I played against Argentina. These were not all for these development sides when I was playing for Hamilton's. Also, I played 3 years. I played at the Villages. During my stint at Villages, I represented Western Province Sevens, and we played at the Melrose Sevens.
Scotland.
In Scotland, yes, correct. And my first year there at the Melrose Sevens, we had a coach who really didn't know anything about sevens, and I'm not going to mention his name. But suffice to say, we were knocked out in the first round, but we were scheduled to play in 2 tournaments. The following tournament we were playing in Glasgow. That was now the Monday following the Saturday's tournament. So that Sunday on practice, it was us. There were only 2 touring sides. It was us and Bay of Plenty from New Zealand, and Gordon Tegens was the coach at the time. So Gordon actually came over to us and he had a chat to our coach, but apparently he said to the coach, look here, would you mind if I just show you guys just a few things regarding sevens, because I don't think you have a clue what's going on with sevens. So he showed us two movements which has always stuck with me: the push and the pullback. Because you know, sevens, it's about retaining possession, and he just showed us just those two things, because he was watching us the Saturday, and we implemented that on the Monday at the tournament, and we ended up playing against Bay of Plenty in the final, and we beat Bay of Plenty. So Gordon wasn't too happy about the time, but we really appreciated that. But yeah, if I would have had, under different circumstances, if I'd had a choice, I would have preferred to play sevens. If I look at the Blitzbokke now, of which I'm a big fan. So yeah, that's a little bit about my playing career. After playing, I started coaching as well, which I find really fulfilling, from imparting what I've learned now. During the latter years now, I sort of took a break, focusing on work, family, that sort of things. Now, however, at this present time, my focus, and I think I've discovered it as part of my passion, I want to share now. I want to share my knowledge, and I want to share especially my mental knowledge and my mental skills that I've picked up, because I think that's one of the biggest points of lack that we lack as a country. And I'm not only specifically referring to clubs on the track. I mean on the Cape Flats. I'm talking about right up to even to international standards. I firmly believe our mental strength is far inferior to on international level, and that is why people are beating us on a fairly regular basis. And we were fortunate to win the World Cup last year, which is obviously good for the country. But yes, so I want to transform my nation's process of thought, through the power of sport. I do on Facebook. I have what I call my Wednesday's Words of Wisdom, and I share things. I hope one or two will pick maybe something up that they can take forward and perhaps share with their club. But it's more based on the mental aspect of sport and approaching life from that point of view. So yeah, that's where I am at the moment.